Let's talk a little bit then about the current environment, some recent policy changes, legislation. Again, we mentioned the American Rescue Plan. California just recently announced that they're going to use some of those, I think, federal funds to maybe pay some of that back rent for people, residents that are behind in the rent.
Mhm.
I think there was certainly an impression with the eviction moratoriums, which you've mentioned, that the owners of the real estate were maybe kind of left behind in that thought process, right? How does this affect them paying taxes, paying their mortgages when they're not getting the rent payments? So maybe tell us a little bit about some of the current policy changes, things that we've seen over the last year,
Mhm.
and maybe some of the things that you're looking at,
Sure,
maybe coming down the line.
sure. So, look, we really felt, as I mentioned, that one of the most important things that we could do is create a rental assistance program. And we started working on that long before the CARES Act was even passed. And we weren't able to get a provision in the CARES Act, but we were able to get it over the finish line on the second stimulus package.
Hmm.
And that was a $25 billion rental assistance program. And that rental assistance program, it went through many iterations. We were most anxious to have it set up in a way that would ensure that landlords would be part of that program.
Hmm.
And so the rental assistance program that is in existence today is paid directly to landlords. I don't, it is set up so that each state gets a certain amount of money, and then the state sends it out to others to administer the program at the state and local level. And so we have been very much engaged from day one in trying to make sure that the specifics of that program are such that our members are getting those funds and
Hmm.
also in a position to help residents who are in need to get those funds. So we've been in constant contact with Treasury, and we've been engaged on the FAQs that they've been putting out, the guidance that they've been putting out. You saw in California initially when the first program went up that they were going to require haircuts for the industry, and then they kind of backtracked on that.
Hmm.
Um, we'd like to think that we've had some success in helping states and some of the localities understand, what's going to work in terms of these programs and what's not going to work. And so we've been very much engaged in that. And then the second program as well, there's a second tranche of money, which is 25.6. So I think a total of 46.6 or something like that in rental assistance. And I would say that it's been difficult initially to get the programs up and running.
Hmm.
California being one of them. It's taken a while to kind of define how they're going to get that money out the door. But I think you're beginning to see now, and I think you'll see in the next several months, a better flow of that money to the landlords. And that was one of the things that we really worked hard on to make sure that people understood that our members were hurting,
Hmm.
that they had mortgages to pay, they had taxes to pay, they had utility bills to pay. And so a lot of what you see in this program, being able to pay utility bills and things like that, and just make trying to make it simpler so that it could be executed.
Hmm.